I don't have to. So gavel goes first or after? Okay, thanks. Okay. Jenna? I would like to call to order the Board of Education meeting for January 13, 2026. Are there any speakers related to closed session topics? Thank you. The board will convene to close session. Thank you. Open session of the Board of Education meeting is live on YouTube. Visit the NHUSD Board of Education webpage for the link. If you are attending online via Zoom, use the raise hand feature to indicate you wish to provide public comment. Phone participants should press *9 to be added to the queue and wait to be called on. Members of the community may submit public comments to the board via email at publiccomment@nhusd.k12.ca.us before each meeting. The board received no public comments via email for tonight's meeting. The board will not respond to questions posed by those making public comments relative to closed session items number 3A through 3C. The board took no action. Now I'll hand over to Vice President Freeberg to do the next part.
Oh, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know.
Okay, I'll do that then. Okay. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. Could we have Michael, Trustee Gonzalez lead it, please?
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Someday.
May I have a roll call, please?
Student member Cassie,
Aye. Present.
Kumar,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Thank you. May I have a motion and second to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Present. Aye.
Kumar,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then acknowledgement. Could student member Cassie read it, please? Thank you.
We want to open up this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land we're on today is a traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Chochenyo First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as the original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in past contexts as if they left on their own accord, when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, and US colonization. By recognizing we stand on the occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people, we recommit ourselves to listen to Native leadership, A11D, stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cassie. So now, are there any blue cards for topics that are not on the agenda?
Nope.
Thank you. Are there any speakers via Zoom who wish to address the board on topics that are not on the agenda? Thank you. Please raise your hand. Oh, this is not there, right? Okay, next. Are there any blue cards on the agenda? Thank you. Are there any speakers via Zoom that wish to address the board for topics on the agenda? Thank you. So, Rennie would like to join us here?
I'm here. Do you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. While I was here to generally attend the meeting, listen in also for the upcoming felicitation, be there to show my support, but I also welcome and appreciate the opportunity to talk about ACSCF. And Ms. Kumar, you might recall me having reached out to you, and we did exchange some notes earlier. I really appreciated your support of this science fair for our student community in the school district. I wanted to further follow up asking if it was okay for me to offer additional opportunities for students who have now registered to participate to avail of things like mentorship from the student board at ACSEF, or get some additional training to be able to present their work in the best possible light? And if so, who would you direct me to work with specifically if we talk about Title I schools? And for the context of the broader board and the audience here, I serve the board for Alameda County Science and Engineering Fair Foundation, and I have the responsibility of working with schools and primarily to raise awareness in Title I schools so that we can create those equity opportunities for all in the community to advance our students and more broadly our society in the field of STEM.
Thank you. Could you please email the superintendent and he can assist you from there? Thank you. Do we have a report from CSEA president? And do we have a report from NHTA president?
Hello?
Thank you. My name is Shane Henderson. I'm the NHCA president, and can't believe we're in 2026 and halfway through the school year, but here we are. Want to update the board on some things we're working on. I'm trying to get together, and I sent an email to, I think most of you got it, I'm trying to create board liaisons between the executive board, my executive board, and the school board members to have open lines of communication. So the goal for that is hopefully to have one of you meet with two of our executive board meetings monthly in person. That's the goal. If that works for your schedules, in order to keep the lines of communication open as we go through issues and try to solve problems to make this school district the best one that we can make it. So hopefully you've had a chance to reach out to the executive board member. If you have not, please feel free to email me and I'll connect you with them, or hopefully they've reached out to you. I also want to update something that we got done last semester, which is a TK MOU. TK, for those that may not know at home or wherever, is Transitional Kindergarten. MOU stands for a Memorandum of Understanding. And Derek McNamara and his team and myself and my team worked out some language that we thought was necessary to add to the contract, because TK, as it has expanded in the district, has not traditionally been covered under the contract. So in order to cover our members and also the classroom conditions of the TK environment, that was done. I'm sure we'll negotiate something permanent in the upcoming years. That is something that we got done, and I'm happy to say that we worked together to get that done. So great job, all parties concerned. Some things that we are continuing to work on is the Prop 55 signature gathering. The goal of CTA and our unit is to get 85% of teachers to sign Prop 55 to get that on the 2026 ballot so that we can continue the school funding that we currently have in place. If we don't get that done by 2030, this district alone stands to lose $15.5 million in funding. So I'm sure that's in the best interest of everybody, all parties that have anything to do with schools in the school district, to get that done. So that's something that we are working on right now. Another thing that is going on is the thing that's coming up. And what's coming up is the sunshine with the school district as far as negotiations. So sunshine means bring light to what we're going to be discussing in contract negotiations. We will be sunshining next month. The bargaining chair will do that. So that's something to look forward to at the next meeting. I do want to thank the bargaining team. There's not a whole lot of recognition that goes into all of the behind the scenes work, and the bargaining team has gotten together many, many times. I didn't tally, I meant to, and I didn't get a chance to tally how many there were, but there've been many, many days of behind the scenes work preparing to sunshine and then to get together with the other side. That's Derek and the superintendent and the other parties in order to get the best contract that we can for our members. I do want to thank them in person. The chair is Kevin Diggins from Cyril's Elementary School. Has done an amazing job so far. Darlene Crittenden from Easton, Doris Gallagher from Cesar Chavez, and Manny Allen, who's in the room, from James Logan. Those are the returning members of our bargaining team. We have two new members of our team this year, Kimberly DeBono from Kitayama and Hillary Trung from Logan. So that's our team this year. I imagine most, if not all of them, will be here next meeting, and we'll see. To be continued. So that's my report. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. So, now some exciting news, we are here to celebrate our own Justin Krupp, forensics teacher, as one of the five He's one of the 5 recipients of the prestigious 2025 Carlston Outstanding Teachers of America Award, presented by Above and Beyond Teaching. This award honors exceptional California public high school teachers nominated exclusively by former students who cite a life-changing positive impact. Mr. Krupp was chosen from dozens of nominations statewide following a comprehensive process that included interviews with former students, principals, and colleagues. From Above and Beyond, we have here to recognize him. Okay.
So much. I'm Dr. Beverly Young. I'm the Executive Director of Above and Beyond Teaching, formerly the Carlston Family Foundation. We're a California nonprofit that for the last 25 years has awarded special recognition to California high school teachers. Teachers such as Justin Krupp can only be considered for this award by a nomination from a former student as a teacher who significantly impacted or changed their life. When such a nomination is received, we talk to that student, we talk to the principal, colleagues at the school, and as many additional former students as we can reach. And then I go out and spend a day in that teacher's classroom, which was really fun for me to go to Justin's classroom. Our board considers the nominations each year, and we select just 5 winners. The winners each get $10,000, which Justin already got. But they also get an additional $2,000 to spend at their school, which I'll give Justin tonight. And our condition on that is Justin gets to decide how to spend it at his school. We honor the winners at a November banquet where all of our past 104 winners attend, along with the surprise student who nominated the teacher. Justin was not aware of who initiated his nomination until that event, when his student, Megan Lee, who's also here, attended and gave the speech presenting the award to Justin. Megan's a 2021 Logan grad. She's now a UC Berkeley grad, beginning journalist. And it was easy to tell that Mr. Krupp is an outstanding speech teacher because Megan's speech was outstanding as well. It stood out in the crowd. She credits Mr. Krupp with helping her discover her voice, her sense of social justice, and even her academic success at Berkeley. Not an easy thing. We believe we're the only award that celebrates these special teachers who care so deeply about their students that lives are changed. In addition to his award, Justin will now have the opportunity to join other previous honorees in supporting and mentoring new teachers. This is especially appropriate in Justin's case, as New Haven is in the very unusual circumstances, Justin being your second winner. 10 years ago, Dr. Tommy Lindsay, who's also here, won this award as well. And Dr. Lindsay was Justin's teacher at Logan and has continued to serve as Justin's mentor. And it's nice to pay that forward as Justin now is helping us mentoring new teachers. Our work's supported by the Sun Family Foundation and Schools First Federal Credit Union. Katie Knopfler is here from Schools First. I know she's familiar to many of you as she's come to New Haven before. Justin's here, Megan's here, Schools First, Dr. Lindsay is here. And I'm going to give Justin that check tonight. I'm also going to give him, he hasn't seen yet, a copy of his file, which will tell him all of the things that his many former students said about him that our board considered in presenting this honor to him. It's very special. I'd like to ask Justin to come up and show you his award and if he wants to say a few things. I also have to add that I do a lot of these, 5 of these every year for our new winners, and it's quite unusual to have all of these students come and show up. It shows you again how loved Mr. Krupp is here in your district.
Thank you. Wait, I have to say something. I didn't know I had to say something. I'm very grateful that they're here. I didn't ask them to come. Actually, I told them don't come. So we all know that any good teacher is motivated by their great students. So I'm very grateful that they're here in support of me. I show up for them because they show up for me. So thank you to my students. I also want to thank Mr. Polk, who is here, who is our fearless leader. But of course, I am nothing without Dr. Lindsay, who was my teacher when I was here. Yes. And I'm really proud to continue his life's work here in this district as a student of this district, to continue educating the youth of who, seats that I used to sit in just a few years ago, because I'm not that old. But yeah, and very grateful for the Above and Beyond Foundation for not only honoring me, but public educators across the state. And yeah, thank you.
So should we take a picture with the board, please? Thank you.
One, two, three. Good smile. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take pictures all the time.
Now, could we have Director of Digital Services, Mr. John Matters? He will present an update on the board, to the board on the 2024-25 dashboard. Thank you.
You guys are welcome to leave. Well, you do not have to wait for a lull. There will be plenty of lulls. It's either going to be that or they're going to keep trickling out. Wouldn't be distracting at all. And this does, you're welcome, thank you. And this doesn't count against my time. I'm just put it out there. Good evening, President Rafe, members of the board, Dr. Thompson. My name is John Matos. I'm your Director of Digital Services. Thank you. I am here to provide the annual update of the California dashboard, and we're in a year in arrears, so we're going to be talking about 24-25. Well, I went too far. The California dashboard is the state's public-facing accountability model for schools and school districts. It's intended to be very easy to understand, and one of the ways they try to make it easy to understand is to have a lot of colors, and these colors mean things. We're starting red at the lowest, transitioning up to blue at the highest. They arrive at these colors based on how a school district, population of students achieves on a certain measure. So it'd be kind of in the left-hand column there, or left-hand column. And then they compare it to how they did compared to last year. And so if the group of students or the school did well, they were very high achieving, and they maintained or increased, they could get a color of either green or blue. So it's just where the achievement and the change intersects is reflected in there, is the color that reflects their achievement. The state of California loves to continue to tinker with the dashboard. There are a couple of new things. One is a science indicator. Science indicator is now a full-on indicator with performance colors and participation rate penalties and the whole shebang. New this year in a much more robust way is growth data, where we'll be looking at how students achieve 1 year after another in entire grade levels of students. They also added another way for students to meet the college and career indicator. And this one kind of makes sense, that not only can you meet the college indicator by passing an AP test, you can also meet it by passing AP courses. That's another way. And then finally, they took the teacher assignment data and made it a little bit more forward facing. And for the dashboard purposes, the teacher assignment data is talking about teachers with clear credentials. And so New Haven is pretty well credentialed. We had about 83.8% of our teachers have clear credentials, and that's compared to about 76.4% in Alameda County and 82.5% in the state. So we're a little higher achieving than both the county and the state. We're going to start by looking at the academic indicators, language arts, math, and science. And the state of California wants us to assess 100% of eligible students. That is their goal. That is our goal. And they want to make sure that we get really close. And so if we don't assess 95% of a school or 95% of a particular student group, there's a penalty, and that penalty is reflected in the dashboard. I'm not going to go into the math, but if you want, you can click on that link down there and it'll tell you how the penalty, participation rate penalties work. The first one indicator we're going to look at is English language arts. And like the other academic indicators, this is based on how students achieve on the SBAC, the test that students take in the spring. And unlike schools who really kind of look at whether a student is proficient or not, this indicator looks at how students and schools compare to the minimally proficient scale score. So when the students take a test, they get a score. In order to be proficient on that test, there is a set score, and it just measures how close our students get to that minimally proficient score. If it's below, it'll be a negative. If it's above, it'll be positive. And they refer to that as distance from standard. You'll see a slide like this for all of the indicators. This is actually generated by Alameda County Office of Ed. This is all the Alameda County districts. For English language arts, generally scores went up just a little bit. Ours was relatively flat. We went down 0.1. That orange bar that's perpendicular to the rows is where the state is. And so that orange bar on all of these slides like this indicate where the state is performing at. And right now the state is negative 8.1 distance from standard, and we're at negative 6, so just slightly better. In New Haven, all of our student groups, and again, this slide is going to be very similar to the other slides. It shows how they perform in language arts. And you can see we had a number of our student populations go up, a couple went down. And you can see on the left kind of how far they are away from standard. And so we definitely have a couple of student populations that we want to keep an eye on, and we have concerns about. Our long-term English learners, students with disabilities, homeless, are all much lower than some of our other student groups. This slide is showing how our individual schools did. And in the past, when I showed you this slide, I would simply give you the color. And because we know that a color without proper context may be a little misleading, you could look at a yellow and say, wow, that's not very good. But that yellow could be the result of some significant growth. And so what I wanted to do is I went back for the last few years, put the colors in, but also indicated whether that was an improvement, whether they stayed flat, or if it was a decrease. So you can see over time how the schools and the districts perform on these measures. So that's how they did on English language arts. Next is math. Same thing, based on the SBAC, distance from standard. Generally, folks in the county did pretty well. We did really well in math. In fact, And I understand you've been notified of this. When the state superintendent of education did the press release for the dashboard, New Haven was featured for our math performance, and then we'll see for our graduation rate performance. We improved by 11. That's one of the biggest in the county. We're still negative 34.9 points from standard, but we are still above the state average. Again, just about every single student group realized a gain. We did have our Pacific Islanders went down a little bit, but we still have those student populations that are hanging back a little bit from some of our other students. And again, you can see we kind of run the gamut from red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And you can see that we had a number of really big pops, a really big increase. Look at IVCMS and Logan and DSIS had a very nice increase. So you can kind of put that into context and see how they got their colors. Next is science. And it's, again, this is based on the California Science Test, part of the SBAC. This test is given to 5th, 8th, and 11th graders. The state kind of changed horses last year. They started, when they brought this indicator out, they were sticking with the distance from standard measure, and they changed it to science points this year. And what that basically means is when a 5th, 8th, and 11th grader takes the test, the lowest possible score they can get and the highest possible score they can get is only 100 points apart, right? So it's a 100-point spread. So they take their achievement and compare it to the lowest score. So in the example, a student scored a 195, the lowest possible score you can get is 150. That 45 points is the difference. They have 45 science points. So that's how they decided to do it. It looks like for the math and language arts, they compare it to proficient, and for science, they compare it to the lowest score. Makes complete sense. Minor gains across the county. We are still a little bit ahead of the state, although they don't have the number for the state, but we're at 54.8 science points. And we had most of our student groups did make gains. Again, you can see students with disabilities, long-term English learners, our homeless students are definitely lagging behind. And you can see that each of the school's colors and then their change in science points from the previous year. English learner progress. This is based on the summit of LPAC, which actually starts just next month. So we're getting into testing season. When students take the LPAC, they can score either a 1 through 4, 1 being the lowest, 4 being the highest. And for the purpose of this ELPI, the English Learner Progress Indicator, what the state did is they took the level 2 and the level 3 and they split them. So there's a level 1, a low 2, high 2, low 3, high 3, and a 4 to give you 6 levels. And the idea is that our ELs each year are supposed to move at least one of those levels. They can move from a 2 low to a 2 high. They're still a 2, but they've gone up a level. So this is the percentage of students who have done that. Excuse me. Kind of a mixed bag across Alameda County. About half the districts went up, half the districts went down. We went down slightly, 1.3%. We're at 43.2, a little bit lower than the state average. In terms of student populations, there's only 2. It's ELs or long-term ELs. It's not broken down by any other student group. This is a pretty volatile measure, frankly. You'll see some big jumps and some big drops, and you'll see actually where some schools haven't moved very much at all. So this is definitely an area of focus for us. We want to get back on path of increasing the number of students who are making those LP levels. The College and Career Indicator looks at how well school district prepares students for life after high school. And they do that by seeing if they are college ready or career ready. And if you click on either of those links, it'll tell you all the different ways that a student can be college ready. And there's a lot more college ready criteria than there are career ready. But college ready is things you would imagine, like they graduated meeting all A through G. They took and passed a couple of AP tests. They scored as proficient on the SBAC. There's a number of different ways that students can meet that college ready indicator. For the most part, the career readiness is mostly if they're taking and passing career tech CTE classes. There are some other things in there, like military science, which we don't offer, but for the most part, it's taking and passing career tech classes. We went up a little bit. A number of school districts went down. We are below the state average. We're at 46.3 compared to 51.7. You can see our different student populations. There's a mix. We had 3 groups go down. Everybody else went up, if only just a little. And there's definitely some populations that are behind others. Our students with disabilities, long-term English learners, foster youth, ELs are groups that are behind the majority of our students. It is a high school measure, so you can see how our 3 high schools did. Chronic absenteeism is an elementary and middle school indicator, and it simply is looking at if kids are there or not. They're not worried about if it's an excused absence, like they went to the doctor, or an unexcused absence, like they went to the beach. It's just whether or not they were there. And a student is chronically absent if they miss 10% of the school year. And for us, that's 18 days. Overall, across the county, numbers are going down. There are some school districts that are getting close to their pre-pandemic levels. We are not one of those districts. We have about 18.2% of our students who are chronically absent compared to the state average of 17.1. But we did see a number of student populations decline. This is where you want to go down. Our African-American students dropped their chronic absenteeism rate by over 11%. And we have lots of other gains in other populations. We had 2 go up, foster youth and homeless. Those students can be in situations that can make it very challenging to get to school. And you can see how we are doing at the individual site level compared to last year. Again, most of our numbers are trending down in the right direction, or they're flat. We are not near where we were pre-pandemic levels. We were getting in single digits from pre-pandemic levels. So we've got a ways to go, and don't know if we'll ever get there, because I think kind of the thinking about keeping kids home when they're sick or sending them to school is maybe changed for good. Graduation rate indicator. This is again something that the state superintendent gave us props for. This looks at the number of kids who started as freshmen and graduated in 4 years, and started as freshmen, didn't graduate when they were seniors, but came back and finished in their 5th year. So it's 4th and 5th year seniors. We had a nice pop. We went up about 4.7%. Most Alameda County school districts did go up. Not like us though. We are above the state. They are at 87.8, and we're at 92%. So that is reflective of a lot of work at Logan, probably specifically, and then Conley and New Haven Academy. You can see the graduation rates for all of our student populations. Again, most went up. We had a couple go down. And there are definitely some groups, again, homeless, students with disabilities, and 2 or more races that we need to kind of look at very closely. All of our high schools showed significant increase in their graduation rate, and that gave us our 4.7% pop, which is great. The last indicator we're going to look at is suspension rate, and this is a K-12. And this just counts the number of students who are suspended at least 1 day. And that can be one day suspension, 2 half-day suspensions, or 10 one-day suspensions. You only count once. So it's just if a student has been suspended 1 full day or more. We went up a little bit. These numbers are really low, but we did go up 0.3. Most folks went down. There were a couple that increased their suspension rate. But because our suspension rate is still pretty low, about 2% of our population is suspended, we're still about 50% lower than the overall state, which is closer to 3, about 2.9. We went up in just about every group. And we definitely have populations of students that are suspended at a higher rate than others. So the big one is our foster youth, homeless, long-term, EL, our African-American students, Pacific Islander are all considerably more than some of our other populations. And as I said, this is our suspension rate is pretty low. At the elementary school, there's not a school that's above 1%. Everybody's in the points. At the secondary level, it's a little higher. But overall, 2% of our population is suspended for at least one day. And that does include in-house suspensions as well. This is new, as I shared. This is growth data. And for the growth data, what the state has done is looked at a few years of student achievement. And based on that student achievement, they have kind of used algorithm. Let's be honest, they probably use ChatGPT to kind of figure out for each of the students that scored a particular scaled score the previous year, they calculated a projected growth for the following year. So for example, if they scored a 2000 in language arts, that's their scaled score as a third grader, any third grader that scored 2000 most likely scored about a 2050 in fourth grade. And so that 2050, again, based upon where they scored the previous year, that 50-point gain is their growth target. So they get a status level based on how close they came to that target. So if they increased but were 20 points below, they had minimal growth. But if they increase and were 20 above, that's exceptional growth, with the average growth being about plus or minus 5 points of that target. And again, that target's going to be different depending on how they scored. As a system, we had about 2/3 of our students make growth. That's at 65.9%, improve their score from the prior year. And of those students who grew in language art, their growth was average, kind of that plus or minus 5 of the target. In math, about almost 70% of students made growth, 69.1. And again, that growth was average. When we look at, this is language arts, and all our student populations and kind of where they fell in terms of growth, there is kind of a spread in English language arts. Nobody's at the minimal, again, students who made growth. We did have a number of students who are in that moderate range, average. We have a couple in accelerated. And then again, the foster youth group is often too small to get a color. And this is compared to math, where the vast majority of our student populations are sitting squarely in that average growth. There's one that's less, Pacific Islander, there's a couple that's more and accelerated, but for the most part, our students are making average growth in math. So to summarize, as kind of indicated by the state superintendent, our math and graduation rates are on the way up, and the work that's being done is taking hold. Our African-American students improved in every academic measure and had a really great drop in chronic absenteeism. Our homeless and our long-term EL students are definitely folks that we need to continue to work with and support. But in general, we're moving in the right direction in terms of academics, graduation, and attendance. But there's still some gaps in terms of chronic absenteeism and in our English learner progress, as well as college and career, that we need to really look at. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. Any question or comment? Yes, please. True.
I have a couple questions there. Just looking at the data, and I always on this board have the most vulnerable communities. Who I'm looking after, and we used to have where the Dakota community, there was some data on there, and we're no longer doing that. Well, that's one of the few questions I have, but just looking at some of the data, for example, like the Latino for the ELA subgroup there, they're struggling the most. Then comes Pacific Islander. I mean, there's a lot. We can go through this data. There's a lot, but what's the remedy when you see these high numbers for these subgroups, and where's the budget to reflect that?
Yeah, well, to speak to the first Dakota question, these are all student groups that are generated by the state. And so the state does not, they're unaware of our focus on Dakota. So that's not going to be on there. I think I think how we address all our student populations is through good tier 1 instruction and making sure that we are using board adopted materials. And our principals have seen this, and our principals are working to create, SIPSA goals and work with the ILT to kind of refine some instructional initiatives. But I think it's really happening at the site level. In terms of budget, the LCAP is full of, activities and strategies that are intended to raise student achievement.
And last question. Tonight, I just got back from a PD with our district in HUSD. We only moved up 2.5, and in New Haven, you guys moved up was 11.
In what major?
In math, I'm sorry.
Oh,
in math. So it was all on math. And so what we're doing in Hayward is we're revamping scope and sequence. We're looking at best practices, and then we're collaborating as far as universal language. So what are we doing in Hayward when it comes to math?
Well, for us,
Oh, sorry, in New Haven.
that's okay. I think there's a number of different initiatives that are going on. We have, as you well know, the RoboBlocky, the coding and robotics instruction that's at HVC, it's at Cesar Chavez, and is at Logan now, is definitely working to improve student achievement. And we saw that even before SBAC came out, and looking at the NWEA scores of Hillview-Crest students. So that's definitely a contributing factor. We have an instructional focus on and a math studio. Thank you. I knew she was going to be there for me. And just how we have students talk about math and talk about their processing and talk about their rationale regarding kind of, problem solving. So I think those are things that are working to contribute to our increase in math. And we had a big increase at Logan. And part of that, I think, was Logan teachers really working to do some thoughtful SBAC prep. And that's also something that we're doing system-wide, is making sure that our teachers and our principals are ensuring that our students are comfortable and familiar with the SBAC, so that what they actually know can be expressed accurately when they take that assessment and not get muddied in inexperience with that format.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Kumar.
Thank you. It's great to see the improvement in performances, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to our teachers and our staff members who are making decisions. Excuse me, I have a bad throat. I do have two questions. One is the DFS, right? Just I'm trying to understand how that was defined. So the distance from standard, the standard being the proficiency level, that the lowest, what's regarded as the proficiency level, correct?
Yeah. So for those 4 levels on the SBAC, level 3 is standard met, and that is attributed to a scaled score. So if the lowest scaled score that you can hit and make it to a 3 is 2,500, let's say, then if a student scores 2,490, they are 10 points from standard. That's their distance from the standard.
So those are absolute points then?
Those are relative to grade level and subject. So
I
it's
see.
not the same scale score, 311.
Or, right.
That bar goes up
Got it.
for our students.
So when we see numbers, like some of our schools like Searles and CCMS are at -45 for ELA, and CCMS is at -81 for math. Those are points relative to
Relative to that minimum scale
For that
score that you,
particular-
in that content area to hit a 3 on the SBAC. Is
Got
that
it.
proficient.
Got it. And that's the average for the school then?
That's the average for the school.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you so much. The second question I had was around chronic absenteeism. So DSIS, we've been struggling with this for a while, and I saw it's 48.6%, which is pretty high.
Mhm.
What are some of the things we're doing to address the gap there?
Well, DSIS or New Haven Academy, their attendance is different than all the other attendance. Their attendance is work-based because the students don't necessarily go to school. For everybody else, it's, are you sitting in your chair? For New Haven Academy is, are you turning in the right amount of work? And I know this is something that Abigail Coatson, the new director of Ed Options and the principal of New Haven Academy, has been really working with our teachers. I expect to see that improve significantly. It's not them not showing up, it's just them not turning in all the work that they're supposed to turn in.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else, like, okay,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you. And the board will now convene a public hearing to receive public testimony regarding the district's energy retrofit program. Speakers will be given 2 minutes to comment on this matter only. Are there any speakers? Thank you. Are there any speakers on Zoom? Thank you. And that's it. The next one. Williams Q2 report.
We had nothing to report this quarter.
Thank you. Are there any items from the board and superintendent? Trustee Gessie?
No updates right now.
Thank you. Trustee Kumar?
I have 3. I presented at the Holidays Around the World at Alvarado Elementary. It was really cool. So the kids get passports and they get to visit classrooms that are celebrating holidays from different countries. So I was presenting Diwali. I had to get my story straight because the little kids had so many questions, but it was great. It was a lot of fun. I think I shared earlier that I'm going to be chairing the fun run for New Haven Day. We kicked off planning. We are looking for a core team of volunteers. So if anyone's interested, let me know. We'd love to have you. And then lastly, I will be at the MLK Logan Invitational Forensics judging again this year. I've been doing it for a few years. Our forensic students are amazing and it's great to see them. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Happy New Year, everyone. The best part about New Year's as an elementary teacher, teaches math, the students are no longer saying 6, 7. So I get, or when if somebody does say it, now I can teach math and, okay, question number 6, okay, 7, or I can count down. If somebody tries to do the 6, 7, they will check each other and say, that was so last year. It's 2026, man. Nobody says that. So teachers can go back teaching math and 6, 7 incorporated. But I want to highlight, if you haven't seen this, every time I'm amazed with this this magazine, New Haven Magazine. It's great. My family gets it around town. And every time there's class of 95 alumni on here, there's one on Will McGee. I graduated with him. So class of 95 comes strong in here. But I want to give a shout out or kudos to student trustee Nadia Casey. She is on here. She's featured on here. This is color. So we can give some snaps to her or applause. So give her roses for that. So if you haven't checked this out, how amazing, and working in a different district, and my colleagues and friends who are not in New Haven, they see our magazine like, wow, look at this, looks so good. You know, this is right here. This is PR. This is great to showcase the wonderful things that are going on in our district. So look at this magazine if you have not done so. And that concludes my report.
I have just one item. Again, I'd like to thank the district and John Mattis for putting out the information about Judy Silver and Sarah Muse. It's a great loss for our district. But I also want to mention one of our former coaches from the Dakota area, an old timer. He coached, back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. He was a student at Logan. I think he started off at 7th grade. His name is Coach Tim Morales. He passed over the break. And he's having a celebration at the Holly Community Center, 13600 Aurora Boulevard on Saturday, February 7th. He's a longtime Baldy's patron, and if you're a Baldy's guy like I am, he would be at the bar talking about Logan sports and all the students that have done great things, and really some of the students who we've forgotten in our Hall of Fame. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we will be celebrating, we'll be having a memorial for him at the Holly Community Center at 13600 Alvarado Boulevard, Saturday, February 7th, from 3 to 7 p.m. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the December meeting. I spent most of December pretty sick, so I'm very glad to be here and be in better health. My update, I attended the Zoom meeting for the New Haven Schools Foundation. I'm really excited to be a part of the foundation. A reminder that the gala is coming up in February, so buy your tickets, sell some tickets. And the fun run is coming up. And beyond that, that's all I have.
And I attended the D3A meeting on Zoom the other day, the day before. And I also like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. And I look forward to collaboratively working with my fellow trustees and Superintendent Thompson for the welfare of our district and our students and our families. Thank you for your support. And I would like to now, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Oh, sorry.
That's
My
okay.
bad. Okay.
No, a couple things. I thought I'd touch on a couple construction related projects. It's the signs for our middle schools that are in front of our middle schools are just killing me these days, coming in 2025. And whenever we have to go through the Division of State Architect, things take a long time, and those projects have taken a lot longer than we'd hoped. We should have construction actually started at Chavez either late this week or next week, finally. So some projects like that take a long time. Logan, the planning for that will take a long time, although we're hoping to have some designs for the board to consider in February for that, after the architects complete their process. But other things can move pretty quickly. And so we have a lot of things to look forward to. If Logan has some field work going on right now to help prepare the softball and the baseball fields. You'll soon have a new marquee, hopefully, out in front of Logan finally. And that will happen fast. Depending on how things go tonight, we're hoping the board will approve our HVAC and lighting project, and that doesn't require DSA approval, so we can make those changes quickly. A couple other ones, let's see, the audio enhancement system the board approved. That work is set to starting with Chavez and moving right down the line in the next month or so. And so all of these things, there's a lot to look forward to, a lot's coming. Just remember that when you look at our field signs, and and we're still waiting for some of those things to happen. But anyway, some good things moving forward. Let's see, a couple other good things. It was great to see Mr. Karup awarded tonight for all of his hard work. If you want to see him in action, though, the MLK tournament happens this weekend at Logan. They take over Logan starting at about 3:30 on Friday, running right through the weekend. Anybody who's out there that wants to see why he got that award, show up over the weekend and check it out. It's pretty amazing. And next week, just so everyone knows, we are having the Boys and Girls Club take over more of our after school and before school programming. And next week they will start the new programs at Pioneer and Searles. They'll take over those programs, which should expand our capacity in other areas, other sites as well. So we're excited about that. So a lot to look forward to coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. So now, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Yes. Mr. Dr.
The Mission Valley SELPA, Special Education Local Plan Area, we met December 9th. And basically, again, I wanted to cite that this is 50 years of the IDEA, the Individual with Disabilities Education Act. We celebrated that. Again, all our school sites, we celebrated a week of Inclusion Week, but we should be celebrating every week because we know that how difficult and how tough it is to be inclusive, and it's not easy. We also had the International Day of Persons with Disability. We celebrated the Day of Special Education Teachers. And then also December 10th was Human Dignity Day. And so I just wanted for special education, our Mission Valley SELPA, again, that we wanted to highlight this month, but then that every day should be a celebration and every day we should be working towards these goals. For the Mission Valley ROP, we're having a breakfast on Thursday, January 15th, and this is for the educators and trustees and other people who want to visit the campus and get information about the programs that are happening at the Mission Valley campus on Stevenson Boulevard. Also, it's going to be in the fall of 2026, the networking program that is currently at Irvington High School will be moving to the Stevenson, the MVROP campus on Stevenson next to Kennedy High School. And so again, it makes access for our students who who load onto the bus in the afternoon and go out there. It'll make it easier for them to go directly to the center on Stevenson. Sadly, we applied for a K-12 Strong Workforce Program application. Unfortunately, wasn't funded. They like to cite that we won this particular grant a few years ago. And then that within Alameda County, MVROP has been receiving grants from the state rather, vigorously. We've been awarded quite a number of grants to support our programs. And then lastly, MVRP is among the limited number of LEAs actively embedding AI-focused curriculum for students. Again, they upgraded their policy. I know that we talked about upgrading our policy earlier in the year. We may be looking at it in the near future, but MVRP is moving forward with AI instruction and curriculum. So, and that's my report.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, so.
I accidentally gave it at the wrong time.
I've got the foundations, if you want to read, or I can read it for the foundation.
Oh. Were you in attendance?
I always get, I ask Helen. So basically it's about diamonds in education. Do you want to, I can read it or you want to read it?
If you want to read it.
Because So like Diamonds in Education Gala will be on 2/21 at Castlewood Country Club, biggest fundraiser of the year. And NHUSD support, will also be supporting it. And scholarship application conclude on January 31st. And we got $246,500 for our seniors. And our grant application for the teachers that the period will conclude on Feb 21 to February 28th. The teachers, coaches, advisors are invited to apply for project funding. And Not a Genuine Black Man, starring Brian Copeland. That event will happen on March 22nd, 26 at 2 p.m. at James Logan High School Performing Art Center. And New Haven Day Fun Run Earth Day poster contest will also be coming up. And the foundation will have a booth at the Fun Run, and New Haven will also be led by Shruti, by Trustee Kumar. So that's about all. Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion and wait. Wait, do we, yeah. Do I go with this one like that? Oh, yeah, got it. May I have a motion and second to approve the adjustment of board stipend?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, I had a question. We had talked about in the last governance session, going to the round number of 500. But it looks like this is to approve it going to 440. I wondered if we could revisit the 500.
So I was not in attendance at that session. I'm trying to understand. So the 441 is just restoring it to the previous number, isn't that right, Dr. Thompson?
That's correct.
And the 441 was based on the ADA?
441, it was based on ADA plus the 5% that you'd been adding on every
Adding.
year.
So what is the rounding?
So I walked out thinking we were gonna go to 500.
Yeah, yes, I also was part of that discussion and just rounding it up. Because of the month's loss of losing half. Just the money, monthly, printer, the printing, the gas, we're not asking for our time. This is public servants, but just to recoup the loss and just make it easier with a nice $500, so.
It's really a board decision. Yeah, so whatever, you could amend your motion if you want to, or vote on this one and it could die, or you could amend it and move it forward. It's really up to the board how you want to do this. If you 500, 441. At our discussion at the last board meeting, it was the direction was to restore it to what it was. So, but if you could certainly take action to increase it if you wanted to here.
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but when I attended the governance session, I had walked away thinking 500. So I was a little surprised, the meeting I was sick for, that the vote was 440. So, I mean, whatever.
Well, you got a motion on the floor. Does anybody? Then you can make another motion. Yeah.
We'll have another motion.
Okay. Do you want to do a roll call? Is that easier? You want to do a roll call on this one? Okay.
Aye.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay, so that motion fails. Does anybody want to make another motion
Sure. I want to put a new motion forward for the amount of $500.
Second.
All in discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
No?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. May I have a motion and second to adopt resolution number 0392526, board trustee absence from meeting due to illness?
So moved.
Second.
And discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay. Could I have someone read the resolution on Black American Nations history? Thank you, Mr. Irby.
New Haven Unified School District, resolution number 0412526, Black History Month, February 2026. Whereas February is proclaimed as National Black History Month in honor of Americans of African ancestry who have helped develop our nation in countless ways, and whereas the history and contributions of African American citizens have historically been overlooked and undervalued within public education curricula, and whereas African Americans have consistently led efforts to advance justice and a system of governance that is truly by the people, for the people, as articulated in the United States Constitution. And whereas African American communities continue to face injustices today and continue to advocate, organize, and participate in efforts to secure, protect, and sustain the principles of American democracy as reflected in California Education Code Section 37220C, which establishes a third Monday in January as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Education Code Section 37221D, which establishes March 5th as Black American Day in honor of Crispus Attucks, the first African-American martyr of the Boston Massacre. And Education Code Section 37220E, which as well as the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, Public Law 117-17, enacted June 17th, 2021, which establishes Juneteenth as a federal holiday commemorating the emancipation of the last enslaved African Americans. And whereas awareness of the systematic marginalization experienced by African American communities has increased in recent years due to tragic events such as the killing of George Floyd, the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement, and the renewed national focus on racial justice and equity, as reflected in Executive Order 13985, advancing racial equity and support of underserved communities. And whereas the long and rich history of Americans of African ancestry predates the United States Constitution, and the African American history does not begin with slavery, but represents a continuum of resilience, achievement, and the enduring demand for recognition of shared humanity. And whereas it is important that curriculum at every grade level reflects the experiences of Black people across diverse racial, religious, cultural, and ethnic identities, enabling students to understand our shared humanity, develop pride in their own identities and heritage, and learn to respect and value the identities, cultures, and histories of others. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District recognizes and commemorates February as Black History Month and encourages appropriate instructional activities that honor the significant contributions of African American ancestry in shaping our nation. Passed and adopted by the governing board of the New Haven Unified School District by the following vote on this day, 13th day of January, 2026.
May I have a motion and second to adopt resolution number 0412526, Black History Month, Feb 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. May I have a motion and second to adopt resolution number 0402526, authorizing contract of the purchase and installation of marquee at James Logan High School.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. May I have a motion and second to approve agreement with 196 Architects of Architectural Services for renovations to the administration and band room building at the Bernard White campus?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. May I have a motion and second to approve agreement with 196 Architect for Architectural Services for Education Services Center Modernization Project?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? May I have a motion and second to approve agreement with HED for architectural and engineering services for James Logan High School Pavilion Modernization Project?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. May I have a motion and second to approve subscription with LITIX 2026 through 2029?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. May I have a motion and second to approve agreement with SiteLog IQ, Inc. for district-wide energy efficiency and HVAC modernization project?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. May I have a motion and second to approve memorandum of understanding with Eden Youth and Family Center 2526?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Are there any items on which trustees have questions or need clarification or would like for separate vote?
Are you talking about the consent menu?
Yeah. May I have a motion and second to approve consent agenda items 14A through 14U?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Present. Aye.
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 Aye. May I have a motion and second to approve? No, this is not there, right? There's nothing there. Right. So thank you. Our next agenda item is the assessment of governance procedure and protocols. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Yes.
Excellent board meeting there.
Thank you.
Trustee Freeberg, a little slow on the draw there with the, with the mic.
Thank you. Board members consensus. Are there any board trustee requests for staff?
I have one.
Yes, please, trustee.
So mine is around work orders and how they're processed, because I've heard this from multiple teachers at different sites. As an example, one of the teachers said they put in 8 work orders in August and only 2 have been processed so far. But I think the gripe is more about that there's no, I think it happens on IQ, right? The work orders are put in on our new system. But ever since the transition happened, there's no status update. So there's no way teachers can tell what's going on. You know, it just goes into a black hole. So I guess my questions specifically, if we have consensus, are I'd like to know what is the process, right? So starting from filing a work order by a teacher. So what's the typical turnaround time if it's not an emergency, of course? And then if there's anything the board can do to support staff to help process these work orders in a timely manner, just so teachers are not having to follow up. Do we have, I don't know if you have consensus, but do you have clarity on what I want?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I'm assuming we have consensus.
Yes.
I have an add-on question. So once a teacher submits a work order, can they check in the system to see the status, or do they get a timeline?
My understanding, and Dr. Thompson, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the system on which they put in just shows up. There's no status update.
Oh.
It just says that it's been filed, but there's no, I don't know, that's what I hear.
We'll give you a summary of what that is. There's supposed to be a status option in there too,
Right.
but I'll find out what's going on and give you an.
Right, and since we're on this, I also wanted to thank you for taking care of the Kitayama matter. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks.